In the news today, there's an article that basically follows up on the Khosa killing by SANDF soldiers, and I suppose to me this is good news in a way, that the Commander-in-Chief of the SANDF, who is President Cyril Ramaphosa, has actually finally properly spoken out on the issue. In the headline in EWN News, Ramaphosa says more will be done towards getting justice for Khosa. Now we know that the Minister of Defense has actually said that she believed that the investigation has not even started or is definitely not over, when the SANDF came back and said that she's mistaken, that it is done. The investigation is over and done with, and she made a mistake when she gave feedback. So it reads here that the President spoke at the ANC anti-racism campaign on Friday night, where he condemned the unjustified use of violence by law enforcement officials against civilians. President Cyril Ramaphosa said the investigation into the death of Khosa has not come to an end, and this is good news for justice. I think there must have been a realization on his side that following the outcry and the obvious problems with the inquiry of the SANDF, that he had to say something, and luckily he did. Khosa died after being assaulted by South African National Defence Force members at his Alexandria home whilst they were enforcing lockdown regulations. Well, this is a lie. They were not enforcing lockdown regulations. Khosa was sitting in a chair. He had a beer bottle next to the chair within his property and within his full right to consume alcohol, because none of the regulations stops you from drinking or consuming alcohol or cigarettes for that matter. All it bans is the sale of alcohol. So they had no right to enter his property in the first place. So that has got nothing to do with applying regulations. They overstepped their mandate. And it is clear that what they did subsequently caused his death. Ramaphosa spoke at the launch of the ANC's anti-racism campaign, and he condemned the unjustified use of violence by law enforcement officials against civilians. Now, he could have said this in public. I expected that he would have said this in one of his speeches to the South African citizens, but he didn't do that. Just the same way he didn't say anything after Marikana. It was years later that he actually acknowledged that he feels that he had a part to play in that. So Cyril Ramaphosa has a problem with owning up when he's actually responsible for something. He's the person that addressed the SANDF in uniform before they went out into civilian streets, where they're supposed to, under the Disaster Management Act, assist us and not police us or use any kind of military force on us. The President said those who are responsible for the murder of Khosa should be brought to justice. Now this is important because firstly he called it murder and that he wants justice. And this can only happen outside of the normal criminal courts, because the normal Defence Force troops are not accountable to the normal national courts. They are only accountable to military law. And that military law and that inquiry found them not guilty, that they didn't kill him because when they left he was still alive. I will not agree, this is quoting Ramaphosa, I will not agree that we have seen the end of this. We will spare no efforts in ensuring that those responsible are brought to justice. And this is what you want to hear from the Commander-in-Chief. Defence Minister Nosifiwe Mapisa-Nkakula filed a final report on the investigation into Khosa's death as per the order of the High Court in Pretoria. The SANDF internal report exonerated the soldiers and found that Khosa's death was not caused by their actions. Now this is interesting because Khosa died from a blunt trauma injury to the head. They said they only kicked and slapped him around, including slapping him to the head, which I saw myself in the video footage. And it is interesting that they didn't interview any of the people that were actually there besides the SANDF soldiers. So they didn't get a full response from the witnesses there, and yet they found these soldiers not guilty. The Defence Ministry won't appeal the Khosa judgment. This is a very important thing because it shows you the intent of the state with regards to this case. Mapisa-Nkakula has clarified that the ministry will not be appealing any aspect of the Khosa judgment and will comply with the court's order. Now this is important because the court actually ordered them, if you look at my previous article on this, that they should come up with new regulations in how they were going to control the SANDF and the police, because the judge gave a scathing judgment against these actions. Last month, an SANDF internal investigation into the 40-year-old's death cleared the soldiers. However, a police investigation is still ongoing. Now, the police cannot investigate the soldiers. They can only investigate the death. The minister said that the department had further filed its final compliance affidavits on steps taken to give effect to the order set out in the judgment. Now, this affidavit that she filed, the court needs to accept this, and I will keep you abreast of that. I will inform you when the details of that comes out, and I will tell you what the minister has decided, what actions needs to be taken because of this killing of Khosa. And it will be interesting to see what measures they will take to actually rein in these SANDF soldiers that are supposed to be servants to people under a state of disaster, not military personnel enforcing military law on the public citizens. This is not what's supposed to happen. In May, the court instructed that the SANDF place its members implicated in Khosa's death on precautionary suspension pending the outcome of an investigation. And this obviously needs to happen, but this investigation is now completed. And the SANDF found that they were not guilty. And this investigation happened so fast. The results came out so quickly. It's unbelievable that something this serious was just brushed under the carpet. I will keep you up to date. Please subscribe to my channel. Click the bell icon so you get notifications so you can hear the follow-up on these videos. Please go and watch and share my other videos. There are specific playlists that you can go to that cover different topics, and you will find something that interests you. Please share this video with your friends and family. I thank you. Till the next one.